Every holiday season, we tell ourselves, I'm not going to wait until the last minute to go Christmas shopping. Yeah, well, how'd that work out? If you're short on time and still searching for the perfect present, my friends at 1-800-Flowers.com can still have your arrangement delivered in time for Christmas. Right now, when you order the beautifully handcrafted holiday flower tree, you get 20% off. That's a hand-designed 1-800-Flowers holiday flower tree, 20% off. The holiday flower tree is elegantly designed with fragrant greenery, roses, mini carnations, and a merry red bow on top, making it truly a one-of-a-kind gift. Perfect for spreading joy in your own home or in the homes of your friends and family just in time for Christmas. 1-800-Flowers works with premier farms around the world to ensure you get the best flowers available for the best price possible. 20% off the gorgeous 1-800-Flowers holiday flower tree is an amazing offer, but you got to hurry. Offer ends Friday. When it comes to meaningful holiday moments, trust in the quality bouquets of 1-800-Flowers.com. To get the gorgeous holiday flower tree for 20% off, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/Wingo. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Wingo. Hurry, the offer ends Friday.
With the Citi Double Cash Card, you get 1% cash back when you buy and 1% as you pay. That's like the joy of getting 2 W's on the road. Or catching the home run ball without spilling your drink. Double boom. Double the love with the Citi Double Cash Card. Apply now at Citi.com/doublecash.
Well, Jackson 5 grooving us in on this Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2 as we are on Hump Day. Last hump day before the holiday.
For Christmas. I love Christmas.
It is. It's just it's a special time. It
really is.
It
was definitely more fun. I guess it's just different stage. You would say more fun because I'm one of those. I like to see people enjoy opening presents, and there's nothing like seeing a kid,
absolutely,
open the Santa gift. So I mean, when the kids were younger, our kids are like the same age. When they were younger and tearing open those boxes, it was
and
you felt
fantastic. You felt like a Superman.
Yep.
Well, you felt like a superhuman dad.
Yeah.
When you saw the joy in their face that they got the thing they were hoping they were going to get.
Very cool. It's a very cool thing. But
now they're old and they're adults and we don't like them anymore.
Now we're going on Christmas Eve to our friends, the Perianos, who you know well, and it's all about, hey, what drink are we bringing?
Things change.
Yeah.
Priorities shift.
Priorities
as you weave your way through life, things tend to change.
That's exactly right.
But that morning, I don't know. We used to put the kids on the steps, take a picture with them on the steps.
Yeah.
Before they could run down and see.
Oh, that's cool.
See what was going on. Did you ever do anything like that?
We did not do anything like that. We just made sure we were there when they came out.
Yeah.
That when they came out and and just to see the faces before they start ripping everything open is so worth it.
Now, we're presented by Progressive Insurance, and all phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, but this brings up another interesting question.
Okay.
And maybe this is something we put on our 25 Days of Decisions at Golic and Wingo. Do you do Santa gifts and regular gifts, as in unwrapped presents that were there, obviously brought by Santa, as opposed to the wrapped presents that are from relatives?
Right, yes. Yeah.
And what was the balance?
Well, I mean, listen, I remember the one thing saying is we're not going to spoil our kids with gifts.
Right. We always say that.
You end up doing. Santa's got it right. Santa does a good job of balancing out and not giving the kids too much, and doing it the right way. While relatives we all destroy that, buying for nieces and nephews and things like that. So, but yeah, you definitely have the two out there. And then when they're really, really young, you see how the kids play with the box more than anything else, rather than the gift itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like,
why did I spend $40 for that? Here's 30 cents worth of cardboard, kid. Go nuts.
Have a ball.
Yeah.
We are going to put up another poll on Golic and Wingo, and it'll be at Wingo's. He'll retweet it, and I will at ESPN Golic. It'll be up there as well. You can only eat one of these. You can obviously eat other stuff, but if these two things are available, you can only have one: eggnog or ham. That's it.
See, I think eggnog's going to win pretty easily there.
Do you really? For me, it's ham.
I know.
Not even a question.
Well, I could figure that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, here's why. Because eggnog is really only sold.
I get it.
From Thanksgiving through Christmas.
I get it.
There is a polarizing texture, you might say, to eggnog. Some people don't like that part of it.
You can't, but you can also spike it, which helps.
Which will also lean out some of the texture.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
Whereas, there's an Easter ham.
Yeah.
Some people do ham on Thanksgiving even. Some people do turkey and ham on Thanksgiving. So I think the exclusivity of the window for eggnog.
I know. I get it where you can have ham anytime. I understand that. But I I still go ham.
Yeah.
And now it's just because I don't really like eggnog. This is more a question for people. Like my father-in-law, God rest his soul, Ken Hansen, loved eggnog. Yeah. Loved eggnog, but I don't know. He also loved food and ham, so I'm not sure which route he would have gone there. So
the other thing about eggnog, which I like, there's eggnog, there's pumpkin eggnog, there's all these different flavors of eggnog that you can do.
I don't care. Whatever eggnog you want. You can have eggnog,
Nog it up,
or you can have ham. You can only have either or. Yeah. All day on Christmas.
And
I'm
again,
going ham.
When we're saying eggnog, spiked eggnog is part of the equation.
Absolutely
we
right.
want to be clear about that.
So
put it out there at Golic and Wingo, and we will see the poll results for that. Yeah. So we're looking about a salty cured meat against a creamy egg-based drink. Two completely different dynamics.
I'm not going to lie.
Really at play.
I'm not going to lie. The gag reflex just kicked in the morning.
Or how about maybe we should have put, caroling every Friday or chugging an eggnog every Friday. That might have put things more towards caroling.
Winter golf, chugging eggnog every hole.
There you go.
Yeah.
We might actually play that around the Wingo household this week. All right, so we got lots to get to. You want to start it off?
Let's do it.
Off the top.
It's time for Off the Top.
Whether you like it or not, it's just beginning.
With Golic and Wingo.
All right, we start off the top with the Cavaliers. Hey, good news for them. A 19-0 run in the fourth quarter that put them 2 points ahead of the Bucks.
But
all with LeBron James on the bench. But as Stephen A. Smith might say, however,
they lost. Milwaukee came back and won. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We're going to both say the name the same this time around.
How did you say it?
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
That's still wrong?
Campo.
Go ahead.
It's Antetokounmpo.
It's Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
Not aunt. Aunt. It's like auntie or auntie.
It's actually, you don't even pronounce the N. It's Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo. By the way, just so you know, this will happen until the finals. I'm pretty sure. Until whatever the Bucks season is
Let's do
over.
this. The Greek Freak.
Yeah.
He did his thing.
Antetokounmpo. Brett, did I get it right?
Yeah,
Antetokounmpo.
Sure.
Wait, he just said, sure. I'm literally asking, did I get it right?
Here's your fix. Giannis.
Yeah.
Just call him Giannis.
Just call him Giannis. Giannis, the Greek Freak.
But the challenge now is to say
it is
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Boom.
Good.
In the 3 games this year against the Cavs, he's averaged 34 points, 10 rebounds, and a little over 6 assists. So he's making his way up the charts as far as the superstars in the league. We know he is the Greek Freak. He is an incredible athlete, and then we'll see where this team can go as well. But a good win for them as the Cavaliers down big in this one. But as you mentioned, come all the way back with LeBron on the bench, but the Bucks get the win.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, really
boy.
good.
Yeah.
Really good, by the way. Again, real quickly, he's averaged 34 points, 10 boards, and 6 assists against the Cavs this season. They have one meeting left. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, no opponent of LeBron James's team has ever averaged 30, 10, and 5 in a single game. So unless he just absolutely does not show up the next time around, it looks like he's going to do something that's never happened to a LeBron James-led team.
Off the top.
Talked about this a little bit, and it's really an amazing thing. North Carolina's Sylvia Hatchell and UConn's Gino Auriemma both became the 4th and 5th Division I basketball head coaches, 3rd and 4th in the women's game, to win 1,000 career wins. They reached the milestone just hours apart on Tuesday.
Pretty incredible. So there are 5 in Division I men's and women's. Pat Summitt, the late great Pat Summitt, leads the way with 1,098. And then Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, in there with 1,082. Tara Vanderveer from Stanford, 1,018. And then Auriemma and Sylvia Hatchell both got their 1,000th yesterday. The amazing thing with Gino is he could have lost yesterday and then 49 more games in a row.
That's insane.
He could have lost before yesterday 50 in a row, won the game after that, and still got to 1,000 wins faster than anybody else.
For his career,
crazy.
88 winning percentage.
It's absolutely,
he won 88% of his games.
Absolutely amazing.
I mean, I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not going to win 88% of the time. And by the way, if we're all Giannis Antetokounmpo here, it is Tara Vanderveer, not Tara, for the record.
I'm sorry.
No, I just want to let you know. Brett got all over us for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and if she's one of the 4 in women's basketball 5 ever, it is actually Tara Vanderveer.
One thing we should mention: Jim Boeheim has won over 1,000 games, but remember, a bunch were vacated,
right?
So that put him back on. So I would add him to that listed over. He won the games. I'm giving him over 1,000 wins as well.
Stanzik wanted to make sure we got that in there as a proud Syracuse
I get it though. I get it because I hate
fair.
that. I hate that vacated stuff.
Yeah. It's not like they didn't happen.
Yeah, I can't stand it.
It's like Reggie Bush retired and all those wins didn't really happen.
And he did not the Heisman winner. He didn't get the Heisman. Yes, he did.
He did. You just took it away from him, which we understand why, but you did.
Get it.
All right, we continue.
Off the top.
Oklahoma freshman Trae Young, who leads all Division I players in scoring, almost 29 a game, 26 points and 22 assists. The amazing thing there, Mike, just 29 minutes.
It's incredible. The 22 assists, again, they started keeping that as an official stat in the 83 season, so he's tied with 3 other people for 22 assists in a game, most in Division I history. But his 26 points gives him the distinction of being the first player in the last 20 years to have at least 20 points and 20 assists in a game. So congrats to him. He's obviously having a monster year already, but certainly was in the zone yesterday.
Last time that happened was 1989 when Stanzik points out it was Syracuse's Sherman Douglas.
Oh, of course.
Who did it with 22. Jeez. He's nothing if not consistent, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we appreciate him, kind of.
Off the top.
Pro Bowl. Steelers, 8 players selected, have the most Pro Bowlers by any team in the league this season, and their most since having 9 selected in 2004, which was Ben's rookie year.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive what they have done. The Saints have 6 Pro Bowl selections this year, tied with the Eagles for second. New Orleans did this after having 0 players selected to the initial Pro Bowl roster each of the previous 2 seasons. And this year, they've done something that hasn't been done in, 42 years, where they had their backfield in. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram both in the Pro Bowl. So congrats to them for that. Tom Brady selected to his 13th Pro Bowl. Larry Fitzgerald, his 11th Pro Bowl. That's second amongst wide receivers. Jerry Rice went to 13 of them. And as we talk more about this, a lot of first-timers out there as well. And also, this roster will change immensely before the game January 28th in Orlando, because number one, the 2 teams in the Super Bowl, anybody they have on the Pro Bowl team won't be playing, so automatically you go to the next group, and then there'll be guys that every year choose not to go. So this roster will change a bunch, but this is the original roster, and congrats to those. And of course, people yelling about some of the, Matthew Stafford, was he snubbed? A Travis Kelce, who made the team as a tight end for the Kansas City. A lot of people saying Jason Kelce, the center
for the
Eagles, absolutely got snubbed in this one and should have made it. And there are others as well. So we always go through that as well. But congrats to this initial group.
Did you mention Tom Brady?
I mentioned Tom Brady in his 13. Yes.
Yeah. The odds of Tom Brady showing up, whether or not they're in the
Super Bowl.
Is very, very low.
Yeah, he's one back from Peyton Manning for the most selections by a quarterback in NFL history. Drew Brees has 11. Of course, Manning with 14.
All right.
Off the top.
And we continue with Off the Top with more football news. The Packers, as we kind of thought was going to happen, have placed Aaron Rodgers on season-ending injured reserve. They announced the move the day after being eliminated from the postseason, not because they lost to Carolina, but because the Falcons won their game on Monday night against the Bucs. That eliminated them. And Mike McCarthy said, with all the factors involved, we felt it was clearly in Aaron Rodgers' best interest. He's not happy about it. It's a hard day for him.
Yeah, again, as I said, this is one you don't ask the player, because a player is going to want to play, especially since he just played last week. We had John Gruden on earlier. He didn't seem all too keen on this either. He's like one of those, hey, listen, if you're out there playing and you've been medically cleared to play, he said, then, I would like to see you play through the end of the season. He said, now, he goes, I don't know about the injury and all that, and I could see from a fan standpoint, I get it. You want to see the top quarterback play, and players in the locker room all want to play. But I understand this, Trey. I really do. What's the – this isn't coming back from – you got hardware put in your shoulder on your collarbone. Why take the chance?
Yeah.
If there's no need, let this thing fully heal up. I know people can sit there and say, well, it's healed or it wouldn't be medically cleared to play. There's medically cleared to play, and then there's fully healed as well. And I got to believe more time is going to help that. I have a son who has a plate and screws in his arm, and he came back early at one point, and the cracks that go around the bone, if it doesn't heal properly when you keep getting hit, can cause you a lot of problems. And we're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Why mess with that?
Right. Look, I get it. And I think that a lot of people, Tim Hasselbeck was on yesterday. He said he should play. And we had, as you mentioned, we had John Gruden on. But I think Louis Riddick summed up best what you said. Look, there's healthy enough to play, and there's actually healthy, okay? This is a guy who's now had a broken collarbone twice in his career, once on the left side, once on the right side. You alluded to it, 13 screws in there and a couple of plates? Mm-hmm. So the actual healing time for this is about 12 weeks. He came back after 7, which means he was barely over halfway there to being where he should be fully functioning. And look, it's a team game, and there are going to be guys that are going out for the last 2 weeks for the Packers that are dinged up and probably hurt and would love to have the luxury of not playing. But you know what? Jimmy Johnson once said it best. I'm going to treat everybody fairly, but I won't treat everybody the same.
Exactly right. And
if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be treated differently.
You know
That's
who knows
just a
that
fact
the most?
Of the business.
The players.
Yes.
The players know that. And I know there are other people saying, well, their last 2 games are against Minnesota and Detroit. By not having Aaron out there and giving those teams probably the wins, are you affecting the playoffs somehow, some way? I look at it just like the September call-ups in Major League Baseball for teams that are out of it, not putting their best product out there when they can have an effect possibly on the playoffs. Don't care. Yeah. My first concern is my team. What's best for my team? Is it September call-ups and looking at young guys? Is it sitting a guy who 8 weeks ago got 13 screws and some plates put on his collarbone, and he's one of the great quarterbacks in the league? Then I'm doing what I have to do as a team. And I know Aaron's not happy, but I understand that from the side of coaches and management.
All right, so with that in mind, it's an interesting question as we finish up off the top here. You're Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
You're the head coach. It is still your responsibility to go out there and put your team in the best position to win games. Now, look, obviously, it's not resting somebody for the playoffs. It's making sure that he stays, gets 100% healed. Right. But what's your message to them going up against Minnesota now? And I think they play the Lions.
I don't think you have to have a message. These are our division games, right? These are both division games. There's no message. You know, that all that takes care of itself in a division game. You know, you are going to try and knock those are Minnesota's in, and Detroit is fighting for a playoff spot. So you as a player, you want to hurt their chances. You want to hurt their seed, or you want to hurt them from getting into the playoffs. You know that going in.
Right.
And plus, if you're a player, now again, there are degrees of players. There are players who absolutely know they're going to be there next year, right?
Yep.
And then there are
Aaron Rodgers would be one of them.
The majority are the good amount of players out there, gang. Let's not. Everybody's not Aaron Rodgers, Clay Matthews, and those type of players. You know, there are other players out there who are still fighting for a job to be on that roster next year and are going to go out and play very, very hard. And you hope even the ones that are secure are just for pride purposes are going to go out and play very hard. I don't want to intimate that they wouldn't do that, but, you know, there are guys that are more secure than others. So, plus it being division games, it's a physical game. It's very difficult to go out there and kind of give it half your effort.
Yes.
And you could put yourself in a bad situation. As I've always said, where it shows up the most, and this will be the case for Green Bay, how are they showing up now, today? Today's Wednesday, right?
Right.
Today's when you put in that game plan. You know, that guys all year got there at 7 a.m. to get a workout first. You showing up? You there at 7? You're getting in, rolling in maybe at 7:20, a little later. Do you have to be there at 7? If you do, well, then you better be. You staying after to watch a little extra film? You watching film at home like you can nowadays, video? So that's where it comes into play, is what are you putting in during the week to prepare for the game? So that's where you can definitely find some fall off.
Look, there are certain games and where you can coast at times. I mean, where you can just sort of sleepwalk through a game. We talked about the Cavs just sort of getting geared up at the start of the season. You do that in hockey, or you do that in football, you're going to get hurt.
You're going to get cleaned up.
So once you cross that white line that separates the sideline from the playing field, you better be full tilt, or you're gonna get in trouble. And I think that's the biggest difference, and that's the biggest message going forward. Okay, so that was the NFL we were talking about with Aaron Rodgers. Then there was Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. Lane Kiffin and FIU won the Cheribundi Tart Cherry Juice Boca Raton Bowl.
There you go.
By a very wide margin. It was they closed as a 23.5 point favorite. They won by 47. Doubling the spread. That was the largest bowl favorite in the last 40 seasons, and they doubled the spread by 47 over Akron, and this was Lane Kiffin after the game.
This ain't about me. I feel great for our players, for our fans. You know, they haven't won in a long time, 10 years since they've been to a bowl game. So to win 11 games and really, 10-game winning streak, there's got to be, this has got to be the hottest team in the country. They don't even play close games. We've only had one game within 14 points the last 10 weeks. I'm just glad that our players, could play on this stage on ESPN, the only game on the day, and then completely dominate a good team. So, they wanted to leave no doubt. The seniors wanted to keep playing and just said, we want to make sure at the end of the year that everybody says we don't want to play FAU.
Well, to that point about keep playing, in the third quarter last night, they were up 31 points. Kiffin went for 2, saying the decision was prompted by an Akron athletics official talking trash yesterday. Lane's response, quote, his bad, end quote. Do you like Lane or not?
Well, listen, do I like him from a distance? You like him from a distance. Do you like?
Is like a pitching wedge good from 100 yards? You get up close for a putt, maybe not.
It's a cool thing, but will it grow old? That's going to be my point. He signed the 10-year deal to 2027. There's nobody in the world that thinks he's going to be there for 10 years.
But that was the chant in the background of that clip. 10
what
more
he's
years,
doing now,
years.
it's a team that had 3 losses. They lost first 2 games of the year to Navy and then to Wisconsin. And then they also lost to Buffalo, and then they ran off all these wins. The thing about it is, and Lane knows this, it's like at Central Florida where Scott Frost was. He knows he can go undefeated. He's not getting into the playoffs. The best he's going to do is win Conference USA and go to a bowl game like this and, play in a bowl game and get a bowl win. There's going to be a ceiling he is going to hit here. Lane, there are going to be big schools that come after Lane again. So Lane right now loves to tweet, has a ball tweeting, plays the game a little differently, right? They're running a play you don't even need an analyst to do their games. All you need is a play-by-play guy.
Hey, don't try and take away.
Well, that's my job. I'm talking about.
Come on.
All you need is a play-by-play. Guys like me, you don't need, because he runs a play every 15 seconds. He's onside kicking. He's going for it on 4th down all the time. So what's interesting to me is if he goes back into the Power 5, is all that still happening?
See,
is he still doing that? Is he still kind of as flippant as he is on Twitter? And then when you're at a big program and you're not winning as much, when does that get old? I brought this up about Harbaugh, and everybody jumped me. I was never calling for Harbaugh's job at all. But Harbaugh has been a ball to cover, isn't he? Yeah. On Twitter, all the kind of quirky things he does.
Eating milk with steak or drinking milk with steak.
What I said at the beginning of the year is, it's all cool, but how long do Michigan fans go with not beating Ohio State, not being a Big Ten champ, not being in the Final Four for the playoffs? How long does, oh man, he's quirky and cool. How long does that play? So that would be my thought for Lane Kiffin, who has coached big-time college football, and it hasn't gone so well. When he finally goes back to it, will he keep this? Or is this just because it's at Florida Atlantic where there's not a lot of pressure, right?
The expectations are lower.
Way lower. So that's he's fun watch. He's a fun listen. He's a fun Twitter follow. He's going to go back to major college football at some point. I just wonder how he'll be when he does that.
Well, that's the thing. We sort of made the joke once that his career has been sort of Benjamin Button. It's been in reverse.
Yeah, it has.
Okay, he got the Raiders job. Then he lost that. Then he went to Tennessee, I believe. Then he lost that. Then he was at USC, and then he went to Alabama as an assistant,
right?
And then he went to Florida Atlantic.
Yeah.
Normally, you start at Florida Atlantic,
and work your way up.
Then you get the assistant job at either USC or Alabama. Yeah. Then you get the head coaching job at Tennessee, and then you get the NFL job.
He's going to go back.
Oakland.
Yeah, he's going to go back up to Power 5, and then we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes then.
At the end of the day, he's interesting and refreshing. But what do we always say? No matter what the sport is, winning is the ultimate deodorant.
Yes, it is.
When you're winning, it's all cool. And by the way, to your Harbaugh point, I think he's lost, 4 straight now to Ohio State? Is it 4 or 3? I think it's 4. Brett, is it 4? I think Harbaugh's lost 4 straight to Ohio State.
3 years. So he lost 3.
3 years.
Yeah.
I think he and Rich Rod are the only Michigan head coaches that have lost their first 3 games against Ohio State. So to your point, yeah, it's all fine. But at some point, you got to beat that
that's
guy.
my own point. I wasn't asking for any firing at all, or is his job on the line. I'm just, how long will a Michigan fan be patient?
We'll find out.
Hey, everyone. Mike Golic here. Support for the Mike and Mike podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I'm so happy, I feel like I can fly.
Disclaimer, you will not be able to fly by switching to Geico. This is against the laws of physics and nature. If you find yourself flying, please seek professional and or medical help immediately. In the unlikely event you find yourself flying, you might be a superhero, or a pigeon, or a superhero named Pidgewoman, who was bitten by a radioactive pigeon. If you are indeed Pidgewoman, Geico retains all licensing publishing rights in the event Pidgewoman the movie becomes a top-grossing Hollywood blockbuster.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Little slow jam now as we roll through Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN2 on a Wednesday with you. Presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And then there are the guys that join us in studio like my man, Darren Woodson, joins us to give us the Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. I haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
It's been a while, man. You haven't invited me out, or I can't even get on the show anymore.
Oh, get out of
here.
I keep saying. Quick with the button over there. Good job, guys. Good job. Well deserved by me. I keep wanting you on, and Trey's the one that keeps saying I see him enough.
That's about right. That sounds about right.
I see him in the afternoon. I don't need to see him in the morning. Yep. So really quickly, got a few questions for you. Christmas, fake tree, real tree?
Real tree. I can't bring a fake. My wife is a designer / architect, so we can't. The fake tree is not happening.
Okay,
it's got to be the smell. It's got to be the entire Christmas feeling in that house. So yes,
okay.
Real tree.
Would you go out every Friday in December in your neighborhood and do caroling?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Doesn't matter.
Absolutely doesn't. Exactly. Does not matter.
The other choice is putting the goofy antlers on your car for the entire month of December.
If I had a choice,
yeah,
I'm putting the antlers on.
Thank you.
I'm putting the antlers on. I don't. You know what? I can drive the nicest car, but those antlers are going to be on that car.
Okay.
I cannot sing, and I'm not even trying.
In your neighborhood, would you be the house that has the gaudy decorations where people stop and actually take pictures of it because they're so like Christmas vacation,
so over the top,
or not one decoration? Your house has no decoration at all on it.
No decoration at all.
Really?
No decoration at all.
Look,
I don't want. First of all, I don't want people stopping by and just taking a look at your house, and that's too much. It's over the top, man. Someone has to put all that up.
Yeah.
And then bring it back down.
See,
that's not happening.
This is why we work.
Yeah, that's it.
This is why we work. It's about
the
effort.
Goalie, there's no way that you would do that.
Absolutely, I would do that. I am a Christmas freak. I would do that.
You would put all that stuff out in the yard.
Without question. Last one. If you could only have, you get to eat whatever you want at Christmas, but you can only eat one of these, eat or drink. Eggnog, ham.
Ooh, that's a good one, man. But I got I'm lactose, man. I got some problems with an eggnog.
Well, I think we know where you're going there.
There we go.
Unless you have a salt issue as well, then we need to get a third.
I'm not a big pork eater, but I'm going to eat that pork, brother. I can't do it.
Okay.
So you got one.
I got one.
You got one.
Jeez.
You and I, we're good.
Nice.
We're good.
That eggnog. Is that eggnog just plain, or is it?
No, you can put whatever you want to dilute.
I might take the chance.
There you go, baby.
Right,
that's my guy.
We can get to the secondary stuff
then
now.
You got shut out.
Yeah.
That's my boy, D. Woody, right there. Davian, right? That's my guy.
Oh, shut up.
All right, so lots to get to, including the Dallas Cowboys still alive, thanks to an index card in the playoff hope. Jason Garrett, interestingly, said he's not sure how he's going to play Ezekiel Elliott this week. How about he just gives the ball to him and sees what happens?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. But listen, I don't think we can expect them to give Zeke the ball 30 times in this game. I don't think you got to understand that this guy's been out for 6 weeks. And I know he's been in Cabo or wherever he's been in Mexico, and he's been training.
Nobody hitting him though.
No one's hitting him. He's been out of the game for 6 weeks. You just don't walk off the street and get 30 carries unless you're Adrian Peterson. I mean, that just doesn't happen. So I can see them giving
hashtag headline. Darren Woodson says Ezekiel Elliott is not Adrian Peterson. I'm kidding.
But I'm saying 15 carries, maybe 16, 17 carries, but they have to get him back in the flow of the game. One thing you don't want is, you still have 2 games left in the season. You don't want to get him hurt early on in this game. You want to get the feel going. Is he going to be the identity? Is he going to be the focus early on in this game? Absolutely. He's going to get his touches, but to expect 30 touches, that's not going to happen.
So, sorry to interrupt, but let's should we look at Le'Veon Bell maybe as an example? Because he's the leading rusher in the NFL right now, but he had the long holdout. First week he had 10 carries for 32 yards, and the next week they popped it up to 27, and the next week after that it was 15. So, I mean, they sort of eased him into the regular season. You're expecting something like that.
Absolutely. And, maybe a screenplay here and there. He'll probably get at least 16 to 17 touches, but, the one thing, this is a young player, man. He's still in his second year, and his future is extremely bright, and they're going to build this team around him in the upcoming years. You can't bring him out there early on, get him banged up early, and then risk that for the remainder of the season. Run the ball like they've been doing. They have a 3-headed monster in the backfield. They can still bring in Smith out of the backfield and do some things there. But this team is right now, and what I've liked about this team is that in the last few weeks, in the last 6 weeks, Dak has had to basically shoulder this football team, and you're seeing some signs of him getting better as far as reading defenses, making the right throws down the field. And now you bring in Zeke. I think that'll offset some things. So I think it's really going to help this football team.
So they're playing Seattle. Loser is going to be out. Winner, I don't think, is getting in either. But at least the winner of this game has a breath left for the playoffs.
Yeah.
As far as the Seahawks, we saw what happened to them last week by the Rams. Is that window shut, Legion of Boom, or is it done?
I'm not going to say it's done. I think you have all these guys that are hurt. They're banged up right now. So you're not seeing the Legion of Boom at its best, especially with a guy like Cam Chancellor that walks down in the 8-man box and stops that run the physical way he does. I'm not saying they're done. This is going to be a playoff atmosphere this week. Both of these teams need it in Dallas. And I know Dallas right now, just getting here yesterday or just last night, there's talk around there is this is it. I mean, they have to win this football game. And, when you watch what happened last week to the Seattle defense with Gurley getting the ball, making big plays, hey, the Cowboys running backs can do something similar to what the Rams are doing at the same time. I think the concern for the Seattle Seahawks this week has to be they have to stop the run early on. First and second downs, they have to win first and second downs. It cannot be 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. If it is, they're going to lose that football game.
And the biggest concern for the Cowboys has to be this is a wounded animal coming in Seattle. They got beat up a little bit outside of a couple of throws against Jacksonville, lost that one on the road. Then that's the worst loss in Pete Carroll's tenure up by the Rams up there. So this is a prideful unit, and they're going to come out there and give everything they have.
Last week watching that game, we haven't seen that in Seattle. I mean, the whole identity in Seattle is they play strong defense. They're not going to give you anything, and everything you get, you earn it. There were big plays after big plays last week. And, again, you don't have Sherman, you don't have Cam Chancellor. But even in that running game with Bobby Wagner and Wright and some of those guys that are veterans up there, they got pushed around last week. And that's just unusual for them.
Well, that's the interesting thing, too, because, look, the Seahawks mantra has been sort of, hey, we're all strong personalities. Yeah. We'll all get along. We can find a way to win. And that was certainly the mantra of your Cowboys in the night. You had a bunch of alpha males in that locker room in Dallas. Sorry, Golic and your Eagles in the 90s.
Whatever.
That got it going. At some point, that becomes fractious, though, right?
It does, especially when you experience a loss like that last week, especially with the confidence and the swagger that this team and the alpha dog mentality that you were saying in that locker room. When you get beat up like that, you're going to be looking at each other a little differently. And the confidence may not be there. And I think that's what Seattle has been built on the fact that they have a confident, strong defense on that side of the ball, and they don't give up anything. Last week, they gave up a lot. They gave up big plays. They got pushed around. And then you got to believe that they came in that locker room. They're looking at each other a little sideways right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. And, the little debate or back and forth, Earl Thomas talking about Bobby Wagner's shoulder injury, and then he puts out the tweet, keep my name out your mouth.
That was wrong. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can't.
There's certain things you don't talk about, people's contracts and people's injuries.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
you don't even talk about. I don't even think you talk about your teammates publicly. I mean, I go even that far.
That was surprising. I was from Earl. I mean, that's just not him.
For a flamboyant type of group that you see get after it sometimes, Earl Thomas wasn't the one that stuck out to me that would be like that.
Exactly. He's usually reserved,
shocked.
Doesn't say much.
Yeah.
But we went through this in Dallas.
Yeah.
With a lot of great big time personalities.
Big time.
Yeah. Confident guys. And when things aren't going right, there's a tendency to start to point the finger at each other saying, no, your game is dropping. No, your game, back and forth. And then there becomes a division. And I think that's what Pete Carroll's done a great job of, getting those personalities in that locker room, getting them to play at a high level. But now, especially, it goes back to that Patriots loss.
Right.
This has not been the same group since that loss in the Super Bowl. It flat out has not been. And they got a chance this year. If they don't win this game, they don't go to the playoffs. So what happens moving forward with those personalities?
A lot of changes, and they've already talked about potentially having to move on from the Legion of Boom, which is where they built that defense and put so much money in there. As a secondary player, you don't have a problem with that. No. Stick around, because we want to ask Darren about the Jacksonville Jaguars, if they're the new Legion of Boom. And then there's the question of some of the hits we've seen in the NFL, and Darren was a hitter in his day. Stick around. We'll have more with Darren. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio, ESPN2.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Rolling on, Golic and Wingo, and we are delighted to have Darren Woodson in here. And again, I like to say this about Darren because I think it's not appreciated enough. Not only is he a 3-time Super Bowl champ, 5-time Pro Bowler, Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor, he's the leading tackler in the history of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there have been a lot of great defensive players that have played for the Dallas Cowboys. To be the leading tackler in the history of that franchise, I don't think that gets talked about enough. So I just wanted to make sure people are aware.
Well, I appreciate it. I wish I was a leading interceptor for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, hey, what it is. I have a yellow jacket over here right now.
That would mean a little more as a defensive back, wouldn't it?
It does. And that's the thing. When you watch players now, and there's some great players that are out there right now.
Of course
and it brought up to me when I was thinking about that, when you just said that about leading tackler, I mean, Harrison Smith got snubbed yesterday.
Oh, yeah, from Minnesota. Yeah, he made the last 2 years.
As good of a football player as he is, great tackler, great, football player. I mean, certain things like that just came to me, when you said that. And that was like, how does Harrison Smith not make the Pro Bowl?
Well, the safeties were Earl Thomas from Seattle, free safety. The strong safeties, Landon Collins from the Giants and Malcolm Jenkins
Listen, Malcolm Jenkins
from the Eagles.
Is probably the most versatile player that I've seen in a long time.
He is. And the Pro Bowl thing, sometimes you make it a year after you should, and once you get in there, you stay a few years longer than you should.
Yeah,
That's sometimes the way the vote goes.
That works.
But let's talk about, you mentioned the interceptors, and you wish you were more of an interceptor. Jacksonville certainly has found a secondary in A.J. Bouye and obviously Jalen Ramsey. What you had the conversation with Jalen Ramsey on the Countdown feature about his trash talking. You listen to this kid, and it's almost a victory for the uncluttered mind. And when I say that, not in talking about his intelligence, but sometimes young players don't know how good they are or how good the opponent's supposed to be, and they don't care.
Yeah.
And it makes them even better, and it certainly seems that's the way for Jalen Ramsey.
And the thing about Jalen Ramsey, he is extremely smart and understands his role within on this football team. And the confidence, the swagger, it reminded me when I was sitting there talking to him, he reminded me I interviewed Richard Sherman about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was similar in the way of how their confidence was. When they sat down, there was an extreme confidence about their abilities to make plays on the field. And there was no fear as far as with Jalen Ramsey, there was no fear as far as who he was matching up with that week. If it was B-Hop with the Texans or if it was A.J. Green, he took on every player the same way. Didn't matter who they were. It was, I'm going to shut you down. I'm going to put my hands on you and be physical with you. And that's refreshing to see because there was no back down in him. It was, like we said earlier, an alpha dog mentality. And that's the mentality you have to have. It's almost like a boxer's mentality at the cornerback position. You have to truly believe in your skill set because you're out there by yourself and it's one-on-one, me against mano y mano. And you have to have that confidence. And I thought it was refreshing to sit down with the guy, and he didn't hold back. He did not hold back.
So if New England is the top seed in your mind, the best team in the AFC, does Jacksonville give them the most trouble? Would they be the top challenger to you?
No, I still think a healthy Antonio Brown and the Pittsburgh Steelers are the second best team. And if they can play up to their capabilities, I still think the Pittsburgh Steelers have the best personnel to match up with the New England Patriots in the playoffs. And I was ashamed that they didn't win that game in the end, but I think the Steelers are our team right now from top to bottom, personnel wise, that can make the explosive plays, have a good running game. They can make it hard. And then we saw this past week how they made it hard and they were one play away from winning that football game. But I think the Steelers would be, but then Jacksonville at the same time. Jacksonville plays extremely well on the defensive side of the ball, and they have two shutdown corners in A.J. Bouye and Jalen Ramsey on the outside. Barry Church, the veteran safety.
Former Cowboy.
And a front four that I would put up there with anyone.
They will wear people out.
I think right now, I think you have three teams in the AFC right now that, they got, I honestly believe the Jags can go and travel and win football games built on that defense.
Well, they have the running game as well. I mean, they boat raced the Texans. I get it was T.J. Yates, but without Fournette. And what I loved about Ramsey in that game, he gave up the touchdown to Hopkins, and he was ticked.
He was mad,
they won by 35 points, but all he could think about was letting that guy go. Okay, the catch, not a catch thing has been a discussion really for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. Do you think the rule? We all agree it was the right interpretation of the rule. Do you think the rule needs to be addressed again in the offseason?
Absolutely, and I think so. I think you have enough out there as far as even those on the competition committee are yelling about the rule change and needing the rule change. So I think there's going to be a reiteration of that this offseason. I think that will change at some point. But look, that was a catch last week. I'm sorry. I mean,
not by the rule, but I agree with you.
Not by the rule, but that is a catch. If we're outside playing football, that is a catch. And I think my entire career has been based on plays like that. And you're like, oh, that's a catch. I don't care how you call it. Yeah. In football, that is a catch.
It was kind of the way what John Gruden had said earlier. Let's go back to just letting the officials call what they believe they see in real time, and let's let it go.
The one controversial part about that, you can say if it was called on the field, did you have definitive overall proof to overturn it?
Yeah.
And that's the issue. But I did think they got it right by the rule. I just think the rule needs to change.
It really does.
We'll see you on NFL Live, Woody. We appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Coming up, no Steph Curry against the Cavs on Christmas, but we got Ryan Russillo in studio next to talk hoops. Golic and Wingo, stay with us.